Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I want to show you what I made with a new Lawn Fawn stamp set I got called S'More the Merrier. I just received this and couldn't wait to get started with it. I also used some Ranger Distress Oxide inks and some Distress inks. You'll see the colors as we go along. I used a Lawn Fawn wavy borders die, a tree die, and an oval die. So let me show you what I made. First, I stamped the images that I was going to use. Stamped them 2 times just in case. And I went ahead and cut out the little square that it was on, cut out where it said S'More the Merrier. Those were 2 separate stamps. You can make all sorts of different sentiments with the S'More the Merrier set. So I cut out the S'More the Merrier into a smaller square, and I knew I was going to back that on some paper, so I wanted to make sure the size was good. So I decided to just use tools that I had on hand and try to keep it simple. And I challenged myself to try to find something that has a little bit of texture to it, to add texture to the animals. So I took some small distress inks from Ranger and just smudged a little on some wax paper. I used mustard seed, wild honey, and worn lipstick, and just put a little bit in the corner of the wax paper. I took a brush that I had and used it to add some water to the colors and paint the images. Now I took my distress ink in Vintage Photo and Walnut Stain and tried it out first, and then gently rubbed it against the paper. So this leaves a little bit of some texture to the animals. I went a little darker on the outside, and then just took my paintbrush and blended that in. I also painted the wood for the fireplace, the stick for the s'more, and the s'more with some of those colors. Then I grabbed a piece of thin plastic that I had. It really is a sheet to make stencils. And I taped a folded piece of blue cardstock. I taped it down with just some tape. I had put the tape on my jeans, so it really wasn't that sticky. Some of the stickiness came off. And put that on the top and the bottom, and then the 2 sides so it would stay where I wanted it to. Sometimes I'll work on paper, but I knew I wanted to play around with the ink a lot, so the plastic gave me just some more time to move the Distress Oxide around. So I have my black soot and chipped sapphire. I start with the black soot and just start in the very corners, going in circular motions. I want it darker in the 2 upper corners with the black, but I don't want it to be too black. The chipped sapphire is a really great sky color, so I don't want the black to overpower that. So I just lightly put it in the corners and then blend it so it's more of a gradient rather than a sharp line. And it does take a little bit to blend. Then I'll go ahead and put in the chipped sapphire and blend that a little bit more with the black soot. You'll see I go back and forth a couple of times. And then I take some cracked pistachio and lightly add a little bit in. I take some antique linen and use a makeup sponge. I want to get the effect of maybe the Milky Way, just some streaks in the sky. I don't want the sky to be plain, so just play around with that a little bit. Now it's looking good to me. So I'm going to grab a paintbrush and I'm just going to make some crosses in the sky to signify a star in the distance. So I'll play around with that for a while, and then I'll also dot some water because I want it a little bigger than I'm going to get with my next technique. So after I'm done making some dots, I'm going to go ahead and grab an old toothbrush and I'm going to dip it in my water. I'll shake off some of the excess water and I'm going to use a splatter technique to add more dots to the sky. I put a napkin underneath the toothbrush because sometimes it will just drip and I don't want that to happen. So you can see it's putting a lot of stars, maybe even a Milky Way. And then I'll take a little bit, I have a bottle of mustard seed. It's the water reactive dye and pigment ink fusion spray. And I put that down and add that to the toothbrush. I'm going to turn it so it works a little better. So besides the white stars, I'm going to get some light yellow stars. Then I'm going to grab the brush and where I have some crosses, I'm going to add some yellow, just dipping my paint in where that mustard seed was, just to add some more color, and then make some more mustard seed dots. It fades out once you dry it, but it really is a nice look. I am camping in Maine at the moment, and you can see so many stars in the sky, and I was inspired by the night sky. And we sat around and had a campfire last night, so what is better than that? Now I'm going to peel off the card that I made, and it's okay that there's going to be an area on the edges that did not get any of the Distress Oxide treatment because I'm going to cover that. So we'll go ahead and peel it off of the plastic that I was working on. The center bottom where it's lighter, that's where the campfire is going to go. So I like to have a glow around where the campfire is. It doesn't really show that much. You can reinforce it by changing where that light area is, but it's okay with me. It really was the effect I was going for. So now I take a piece that had one of the wavy borders on it and glue it on. I know I'm going to have to trim that down, and I'll do that in a little bit. And then I start adding the little critters. I take my rectangle and add some glue to the back of it and place that right on the card. That shows me where I'm going to have to cut. And then I had die cut some pine trees, so I add that underneath the oval just so they're peeking out, and I put a couple on the front of the oval as well. So I'm adding some more of the trees to the side, and in a second I'm going to put a tree in the front. I end up moving the moon because I wanted to put S'More the Merrier in the center, but I wanted to take some Nouveau drops and put it on the moon. I am so excited about this Lawn Fawn stamp set, S'More the Merrier. There are so many different things you can do with it, and plus I have other stamp sets that will go along with this, some of the animals from different stamps. So I will be using this a lot. Obviously, since I live and travel and craft in my RV, camping and s'mores are near and dear to my heart. Well, that's what I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial on how I made the S'More the Merrier card. Thanks so much for joining me today. It was great having you, and I'll see you again next time. Have a fabulous day.